सर्वो भद्राणि पश्यतु सर्वः सद्बुद्धिमाप्नोतु सर्वः सर्वत्र नन्दतु ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत बन्धेभ्यो मुक्तश्चान्यान् विमोचयेत् ॐ सर्वाणि भूतानि विशन्तु सौख्यं सर्वाणि भूतानि भजन्तु शान्तिं सर्वाणि भूतान्यपि नारायणः सम्पूर्णमानन्दमुपाश्रयन्ताम् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ।
It is with great respect and gratitude that the Ramakrishna Sharada Mission, Sister Nivedita Heritage Museum and Knowledge Center celebrates the 154th birth anniversary of a great soul, a teacher, author, social worker, and an elevated spiritual leader who adapted our country with love and ease and selfless service. Miss Margaret Noble, or better known as Sister Nivedita. In these pandemic and trying times, it is a small attempt to remember Sister, pay our homage, and reach out to all of you with the future plans, hoping to make our society a better place to live in, as Sister always wanted. Vedic chanting will be followed by eminent speakers on Sister. The names of the speakers and their topics will scroll on the screen. Speeches will be followed by a virtual tour of the museum. After the restoration at 16 Boshpara Lane, Sister's house, an endeavor has been made to follow her precepts and in turn improve our lives and that of others. Number 17 Boshpara Lane shall be the home for Nivedita Institute of Human Advancement and Research, which shall uphold Sister's visions. The speakers will enlighten on how Nihar envisions Sister's teachings and intends to walk on the path shown by her.
ভগিনী নিবেদিতার জন্মদিন। সুদূর আয়ারল্যান্ডের এক আইরিশ পরিবারে তার জন্ম। আমরা দিনটির মহিমা বুঝি পরবর্তী জীবনের দিকে তাকিয়ে। এই জগৎ জন্ম মৃত্যুর প্রবাহে ভেসে চলেছে। মনুষ্য জীবন বড় দুর্লভ। শ্রীমার কথায় কত সৌভাগ্যে মা এই জন্ম। ভগিনী নিবেদিতা সেই জন্মকে সার্থক করেছিলেন সেই মহাপ্রাণের জন্য। তাই এই অশ্রু সজল স্মরণ মনন। তিনি আমাদের শিখিয়েছেন কেমন করে নিজেকে নিবেদন করতে হয়। তার নিবেদনের মহিমা এই শতকের মানুষকেও আজকে অবাক করে। তার মহান আত্মদানের কথা সাম্প্রতিক ইতিহাসও তুলে ধরেনি। আমরা বিস্মৃতির অন্তরালেই তাকে রেখেছিলাম, তার জীবনের মূল্যায়ন করিনি। কিন্তু কালের খাতায় সে নাম সোনার জলে ফুটে উঠেছে। নিঃশেষে প্রাণ যে করিবে দান, ক্ষয় নাই তার ক্ষয় নাই। স্বামী বিবেকানন্দের আহ্বানে তিনি ভারতবর্ষের পুণ্যভূমিতে এলেন, যেখানে সেদিন সত্যই যন্ত্রণায় জ্বলে পড়ে যাচ্ছে মানুষের অন্তরাত্মা। নিদ্রিত ভারতে জাগ্রত চেতনাময়ীকে আবাহন করা হয়েছে। তিনি নিতে আসেননি, এসেছিলেন দিতে। কিন্তু সেই মহাদানের জন্য তাকে কতটা আত্মবিলয় করতে হয়েছিল তা আজ ইতিহাস হয়ে রয়েছে। তার শিক্ষক ছিলেন স্বয়ং যুগাচার্য স্বামীজি। তার মনস্বিনী কন্যাটিকে তিনিই চিনতেন। বিদেশের মাটিতে গড়ে ওঠা নিবেদিতার জ্বলন্ত দেশাত্মবোধ এবং সুদৃঢ় সংস্কার, ধারণা, ভাবনা সমস্ত তিনি চূর্ণ বিচূর্ণ করে ওই অগ্নিময়ীকে একটা নতুন রূপ দিয়েছিলেন। নিবেদিতার অনুপরমাণুতে সংক্রামিত করেছিলেন প্রাচীন ভারতের নির্যাস এবং নবীন ভারতের ভাবী আলোর উদ্ভাস। আজ আমরা জানি কিভাবে শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের নরেন ভারতের ভাবে অবগাহন করে পরিব্রাজনকারী রূপান্তরিত হন। তিনি ভারতের ভাবে সমৃদ্ধ হতে হতে একসময় হয়েছিলেন সাক্ষাৎ ভারতবর্ষ। আর সেই জীবন্ত জ্বলন্ত স্পন্দিত ভারতবর্ষের সান্নিধ্যে থাকার সৌভাগ্য হয়েছিল ভগিনী নিবেদিতা। ত্যাগ বৈরাগ্যের আগুন ঘেরা সেই ভারতকে বেষ্টন করে থাকত শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের প্রেমের বলয়। তাই কখনো সে আগুনের সংস্পর্শে তিনি দগ্ধ হতেন, কখনো ঝলসে যেতেন, তীব্র যাতনায় ছটফট করতেন চিন্তার সংঘর্ষে। দেখতেন তার বহুদিন লালিত চিন্তার ধ্বংসস্তূপ। তার সত্তাকে চূর্ণ বিচূর্ণ করতেন নির্মম আচার্য। কিন্তু অবসানে অন্তরে নামত তার আশীর্বাদের বাণী। তিনি তখন জাগতিক মালিন্যহীন এক মুক্ত সত্তা। স্পর্শমাত্রে অধ্যাত্ম চেতনা জাগ্রত করার শক্তিতে ভগিনী পেলেন বন্ধনহীন অনন্ত মুক্তির আস্বাদ। এক মহান প্রাপ্তি ভগিনীকে, যা ভারত ভগিনীতে রূপান্তরিত করেছিল। এ তার নবজন্ম। স্বামীজি এক সময় বলেছিলেন, এরপর নিবেদিতার কার্যকরী শক্তি দেখবে। স্বামীজির সমজদার মানুষ কন্যাটির ক্রিয়াকলাপ ছড়িয়ে পড়ল তার এই গুরুর কৃপায় দ্বিতীয় জন্মের পর। ভারতের, বিশেষ করে কলকাতার বুদ্ধিজীবী সম্প্রদায়, কবি, ঐতিহাসিক, শিল্পী, স্থপতি ভগিনীর সান্নিধ্যে তার মনন ও তেজস্বী তার প্রকাশে অবাক হয়েছিল। যার স্থান হতে পারত বিদ্বৎসভার শীর্ষ দেশে, তিনি বাগবাজারের এঁদো গলির বাসিন্দা হয়ে পল্লীর মেয়েদের জন্য একটা ছোট্ট স্কুল খুলে বসলেন। অর্থাভাবে কখনো কখনো একটি মাত্র কলা খেয়ে নিজে প্রায় উপবাসী থেকে বলতে গেলে প্রার্থীদের হাতে তুলে দিতেন যৎসামান্য অর্থ সাহায্য। কে জানলো তা নিয়ে মাথা ঘামালেন না। দারিদ্র্যের মধ্যে চালাতে লাগলেন নিজের কর্মকাণ্ড। বিদেশে, অর্থাৎ যে দেশ ছেড়ে এসেছেন, সেখানে যেতেন অর্থ সংগ্রহের জন্য। তার সংক্ষিপ্ত জীবনে তিনি শুধু নিবেদন করেই তৃপ্ত থেকেছেন। প্লেগের বিভীষিকায়, মানুষের বিরূপতায় কোনো দিনই তিনি বিচলিত হননি। বলতে গেলে অনিঃশেষ দানে ক্ষয় করেছেন প্রাণ শক্তি, স্বাস্থ্য ও ভাবী উজ্জ্বল জীবনের চিত্রখানি। তার জুড়াবার একমাত্র স্থান ছিল শ্রীসীমার দিব্য সান্নিধ্য। তার আশিস ছিল নরেনের এই মহাপ্রাণ মেয়ের উপর। এছাড়া তার জীবন ছিল অনবরত দান, দান, দান। নিবেদিতার নিঃস্বার্থ দান ভারত জননীর চরণে আজ অম্লান হয়ে রয়েছে। তার জীবনের কার্যাবলীর বর্ণনা করার ক্ষমতা আমাদের নেই। সে জীবন অসামান্য, সে জীবন মহান, সেই জীবন দেবত্বের প্রকাশ। আজ সেই চরিত্রের পাদমূলে আমাদের প্রাণের প্রণাম জানাই। তিনি আমাদের ওই নিবেদন করার শক্তি দিয়ে ধন্য সার্থক করে তুলুন, এই প্রার্থনা।
ओम नमः श्री अधिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. So think of this power and how it came, how simply it lived, and what revolutions it's going to cause. Swamiji has predicted this. He wanted two things. You know very well, Swamiji had planned for two mutts, Ramakrishna Mutt and Sharda Mutt, and the first on his list was actually Sharda Mutt. And his plan for the regeneration of this country was, first of all, he identified the causes for the degradation. The first cause, he said, was the neglect of the masses. The second cause, the neglect of women. Now, masses actually includes women. So the double emphasis is on neglect of women. And neglect of masses, today we have all the data available from that economic survey of the history of various nations. And second was the neglect of women. About this, the lesser said the better. Because when education itself is removed from a person, it's like removing the light from one's eyes. What will a mind do if it is not trained by education? And so the country gradually became, you see, if women become steeped in superstition, all kinds of rigid customs, and are not given education, the country will follow the same, because the greatest influence of women is as mothers, and that influences the upcoming generations. So Swamiji saw clearly where the problem lay. So his solution for the regeneration of India, it highlighted the empowerment of women actually by education, because Swamiji understood it was through education that all these problems could be solved. And that is why he was looking out for educators. Among the small population of educated women of that time, you can say micro population, you know what the educational scenario was like? In 1900, the literacy rate among women was 1.5% in the country. 1.5% only, and amongst men it was 9%. Today the literacy rate among women is close to 70%, for men it is close to 80%. Swamiji saw that by removing education from Indian womanhood, although the culture was retained in a very deep way, the importance of education was not understood, and gradually the country was seeping down into superstition, into all sorts of malpractices. So Swamiji was on the lookout for educators, and he sent out appeals. He appealed to Srimati Sarala Ghoshal, the editor of Bharati at that time, to come forward and educate her less fortunate sisters. But the social conditions were such, Indian women themselves could not easily come out of their cocoon and help others. But the help came from totally unexpected quarters. Just imagine, from Ireland, in the form of Margaret Noble. If we actually see her life, it's a wonder how she could do what she did. She came to India not to patronize Indians. She did not come to take up a few special projects and help Indians. She came to become a daughter of India, one with the soil. She came to inherit this spiritual heritage. She came to dedicate herself to the service of its people. So her renunciation, I think there is no parallel in the history of India. She was born to very noble parents. In fact, their title was Noble, Samuel Noble and Mary Noble. And the parents were of Scottish-Irish origin, and the father was a pastor. So the religious influence was on Margaret Noble right from childhood. And the mother was a very pious lady. She had vowed this first child to God, because in those days, you see, for a safe delivery, many women would do it. So little Margaret, even before she came on this earth, she was vowed to God. So when the girl was born, somehow the father intuited that this was a very special child. So he intuited the special role that Margaret Noble was to play in the future. The brilliancy, anything, any idea, she could dive to the depths of it and interpret it in a very novel, original way. Those of you who have gone through her works, you will understand this. Her works are like you can say they are like mirrors you can hold before every Indian to acquaint him with his own heritage. That is the beauty of the works of Nivedita. The greatest tribute is always taking up the ideals of their lives. If we can take this into our lives, I think that is paying the greatest tribute. There are two main things which we can take from Nivedita. What we are going to take home should be at least these two things. One is her spirit of high idealism. Human life has a purpose. If that purpose is not fulfilled, we will die without fulfillment. Human life has a very elevated purpose. Our energy should be geared to that higher purpose. In Nivedita's life, her motto was, nothing easy, nothing cheap. This was her motto. This is found in her writings. And so, firing oneself with a high idealism, making sure that every day we dwell on these high ideals and make something valuable of our lives, this is our responsibility. This is the first thing we can take from Nivedita. The second thing is her iconic spirit of dedication. When I know I have a high ideal in life, I must bring my energies to work for that ideal. That is dedication. If I can do that, it appears like dedication from on the objective end, but it is actually a fulfillment from my part. So for Nivedita, dedication was like that, and that is why you see she functions as a perfect role model for our modern girls. All of you will agree, enormous transition phase in Indian womanhood. That shy, reticent, unassuming womanhood of yesterday, making way for the accomplishing women of today. And this enormous transition requires stirring role models of integrity and character. And Nivedita, in all the glory of her renunciation, becomes such a stirring role model for our young girls. What is it that your young daughters want today? Tell me. They want to stay rooted to their heritage. At the same time, they want to take the best that the world has to offer. And that is why they need role models which have effectively combined these two. And this is where Nivedita stands as a shining exemplar, a synthesizer of values for emergent India, and a real inspiration, a role model for our girls. So these are the two things we will take from Sister's life. It is my prayer on this to Sister that she inspire us from within, with her life, with her words, and her spirit of iconic dedication and high idealism enter into us. Thank you very much.
Ramakrishna Sharada Mission Sister Nivedita Heritage Museum and Knowledge Center. A Personalia Museum presenting the story of a versatile personality. World Mover, prophesied Swami Vivekananda. Lokamata, said Rabindranath Tagore. Who is she? She is Margaret Elizabeth Noble, later named Sister Nivedita, the spiritual daughter of Swami Vivekananda. Her journey started in the native quarters of Kolkata at 16 Bushpara Lane. This building became the meeting place of luminaries from different walks of life. This very house was the witness to the beginning of a girls' school on Indian lines. It was the cradle of the future Sri Sharada Math and seat of selfless service to plague victims. Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi stayed in this house for more than 1 year with her extended family. Surprisingly, this house has stood long years of negligence till it was declared a heritage building in 2005. After the inaugural puja and blessings of most revered President Mataji, restoration work began with the financial support of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, TCS Foundation, public donations, and the able guidance of the Archaeological Survey of India. The first phase of work began with documentation, analyzing the worn-out state, deplastering, followed by tedious restoration process under the appropriate alternative Kolkata. Analyzing worn-out state. The second phase of the restoration work began with new architectural interventions. The company appointed for this phase was SJK Architects of Mumbai. There is a new staircase and a lift for the use of visitors. There are canopies at the rooftop to protect the house from scorching heat and heavy downpour. The Chief Minister Srimati Mamata Banerjee inaugurated the restored house in the year 2017. The museum displays sisters' life and works through the use of modern technology like audio tour guide, digital kiosks, digital book, interactive bookshelf to enhance the storytelling process and interactive experience. Sister had written in her letters, "I would like much to make number 17 a real university settlement." Keeping her words in mind, NIHAR or Nivedita Institute of Human Advancement and Research has been formed by Ramakrishna Sharada Mission with the generous funding of Tata Consultancy Services. India shall ring with her, prophesied Swami Vivekananda. Much of Sister Nivedita's work is still unknown to many of us. We believe that this museum will inspire us to do our best as a befitting tribute to her.
I shall see the sunrise. These were the last words of Sister Nivedita. She was a dreamer, rather, she was a visionary. Her vision was inspired by Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ma Sharada Devi and Swami Vivekananda, who were the driving force of her life. One of her vision was, she wrote in her letter dated 28th January 1903. She wrote that, "I would like much to make number 17 a real university settlement." What a great dream! Keeping this dream in mind at present, Ramakrishna Sharada Mission wants to implement her vision in a very humble way to establish NIHAR, which is an integral part of Sister Nivedita Heritage Museum and Knowledge Center. NIHAR implies N for Nivedita, I institute a human, A advancement and R research. That is Nivedita Institute of Human Advancement and Research. Welcome to all. My warm greetings to all of you. Today, my topic is roadmap of these institutions in the footprints of Sister Nivedita. So, the key contributions of Sister Nivedita to India are important for us to recall. We can summarize her contribution as shown in the slides. A few points are as follows. Number 1, Sisters' dedication and commitment to Indian heritage, which is most important. 2, her clear understanding, perception and vision of contemporary needs. 3rd, her service to the poor, needy, elderly, distressed and vulnerable section of society. 4, her innovative efforts to empower women by imparting respect and enhancing education. Respect enhancing education helps to develop their self-esteem and make them independent in the sense of self-reliance. 5. Her contribution in awakening the nationalist sentiment on One India through spreading awareness about our spiritual lineage, past achievement, and cultural identity. Nivedita contributed immensely in all fields of Indian culture. I want to mention that two paintings used here in these slides from a large number of paintings which were donated by the famous artist as tribute to Nivedita for her huge contribution in the field of art. Number 6, her contribution to higher education, science and research. So, what is our vision for human advancement in this new venue, Nihar? Here, we would love to nurture and foster the ideals that Sister Nivedita stood for. She was the living illustration and demonstration of what human advancement is. 2. Enabling the nation to learn, understand and move forward with the ideas and ideals for which Sister Nivedita gave her life. Our motto would be free and work for freedom of the universe. This motto reveals two directional, that is outward and inward, human advancement, which will be the foundation of all work, training and courses of Nihar. Number 1, inward. Inward training to manifest the power within for the enlightenment of individuals. 2, outward. Training for the development of hard and soft skill in different fields. Once, Swami Omkaranandaji said that a tasty chop has to have a good fillings as well as a crunchy outer crust. Both have to be equally good. Similarly, we want the training imparted from Nihar to be both internally and externally enriching for holistic development. Now, identifying present needs, we have contemplated on different interventions which can be briefly presented in the activity matrix of Nihar. These matrix consist of driving force based on key contribution of Sister Nivedita, consequent need and finally associate mission for Nihar derived thereof. Please follow the row column of these matrices in one after another. Driving forces or key contribution of Sister Nivedita. The first aspect is her service to poor and needy. Here, the need analysis in the present context shows us that we have to impart some training programs, different courses which would generate means of livelihood among the target population. The mission defines it will come in terms of different vocational training for them. Second, come to the second row. When the driving force is her respectful caregiving service to Gopalir Ma, the elderly women devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, the need analysis reveals the most important special service to the society in this age, that is the age in place. We can groom our younger generation properly so that they can provide special support to elderly women, the most importantly specialized service for aging in place. Nowadays, this management has become a very big issue. This topic will be explained explicitly in the next lecture by Professor Sharmila Banerjee. Come to the third. Driving force is her support to the course of national education. Need analysis provides integrating values of life skill development. So, mission defines train the trainers program, teachers training, making leaders, following sisters' footprint. Professor Shumita Roy will give her presentation on this topic. Fourth, her contribution to national awakening. Here, need analysis provides sustainable local global integration. Here, mission defines research and innovation. This is a sketch of the roadmap of Nihar in the footprints of Sister Nivedita. Now, our earnest request to the Holy Trio and Sister Nivedita for their blessings. And we are also seeking help from everyone, from everybody's available resources in whatever form feasible, such as ideas, funds, and for fulfilling Sister Nivedita's dream successfully. Thank you. I end with a prayer for well-being of all. Namaskar.
Namaste Matajis and all my respected audience. Nihar is the platform to promote practices for human advancement and carry out research for improving the quality of life following the footsteps of Sister Nivedita. Being guided by her innate spirituality, the observed versatility of Sister's creative mind, innovative mind, is yet to be understood by us, the common people, in its totality. Inspired by the dynamic personality and life experience of Sister Nivedita, Nihar is contemplating imparting some value-oriented training courses for the children and women, both young and old, to enable them to develop harmonious society where the ultimate goal of human advancement would be self-realization. Learning from the works of Sister, a few core areas have been identified by Nihar where some proactive interventions would be the call of the time. One such area is related to the handling of aging in place or age-related vulnerability where the elderly women are more exposed to. The inspiration for this kind of idea came from the instance of Gopalerma. Gopalerma was a child widow and Sister Nivedita took care of the last phase of her life with complete devotion, dedication, respect and love. And she did the needful for Gopalerma in accordance with her heritage, cultural beliefs and religious faith and customs. In Indian culture, husband is generally older than wife and wife is expected to live longer. That is why most of the elderly women are widow and quite a few of them are staying alone. These single elderly women are finding it difficult to manage the activities of their daily living and especially the instrumental activities like paying utility bills, managing banks and finance, arranging for doctor's appointments, meeting social obligations, and so on. They are in this digitized world where the direct human interactions in different transactions are gradually getting withdrawn. They are feeling more uncertain and they are feeling more anxious about carrying out their or managing their daily life. They have one option of joining any institution like old age home, but generally they are not very open to that option because their physical safety and security will be protected there, but they will lose their autonomy and independence. That is why they prefer to age in place in their known social environment. Nihar is thinking of training young girls to provide assistance to these elderly women on the basis of a mutually enriching partnership. The partnership idea also struck us from the wonderful example of the interaction between Joginma and Sister Nivedita, which culminated into the great book Cradle Tales of Hinduism. Our idea is something like that during the active days, all these elderly women, they had some creative interest or other. And Nihar wants to work on that revitalization of that creative interest and rejuvenation of positivity in their mind. Here, in entry interview, for each elderly person, their creative interest will be noted down. For all the trainee girls, note will be taken of their extracurricular interest, that may be cooking, singing, sewing, designing, storytelling, literature reading, or role playing. It can be anything. And when one assistant will be assigned to an elderly, then this creative interest will be matched, so that under the guidance of the elderly, the younger one can take up some creative project on the basis of experiential lifelong learning that will help to pass on the knowledge from old to the young. There will be continuity and two-way interaction. The old will help the young to get the knowledge about this creative project, and the young will help the old in carrying out the activities of daily living. There will be improvement in quality of life for both. There will be better intergeneration bonding, and the knowledge repository will not be decayed. In result, the old will be able to live in place happily with the help of the young, and both depression and anxiety will go away because the happy past will be recreated and the old will live in present. The instrumental activities will be taken care of, so the old will live in place. In arranging for this kind of training, Nihar is thinking of organizing some study groups, interactive sessions, workshops, short courses for both young and old in the line of Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda, and both the groups will be made familiar with the normal expected changes which are experienced during aging in the count of physical change, physiological change, psychological change, social change, behavioral change, and on top of everything, transcendental changes. If this happens, then both the groups will be empowered and they will be able to think and go beyond the narrow self. They will work together for greater common good, and there will be a transition from mundane Vishayananda to Bhajanananda. Thank you.
Pranams to all Matajis and greetings to all present. We have celebrated 150 years of Sister Nivedita's life. We can now start thinking about how best to bring her experiences and writings into the mainstream so that people live a better life. Today's education requires some supplements because, as Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita's guru, said, education should be character building. And to build character, it is not enough to only learn the subjects. We have to learn much more than this. And these ideas we find in Sister Nivedita, which she got from her guru Swami Vivekananda, who also got from his guru Sri Ramakrishna. Looking at this Guru Shishya Parampara, as reflected in Sister Nivedita, we can learn to make our lives better. We can aspire for human excellence. Nihar is a platform which can explore many such courses in order to bring Sister Nivedita into the mainstream and let people become spiritual in their lives. For instance, we could plan a course Reinventing Leadership, Sister Nivedita's Way. Usually, leadership is taught in all training programs, but we find that this is only a superficial training. It does not talk about leadership in depth, that is, to become a leader of yourself before you lead others. If we look at Sister Nivedita's life, we find that from childhood she was aspiring towards higher values, a higher ambition and aim in life, a selfless ambition to do good to others. Therefore, we have to talk about reinventing leadership, a leadership which goes at various levels. The course content will be all the qualities which make a good leader on one side and the various styles of leadership which a person requires in different contexts of life. We have various contexts in life, and for all these we must remember that unless we are a leader, we don't succeed. Suppose we look at some qualities like initiative and commitment, which are very important for a leader. We find it in Margaret Noble even before she became Sister Nivedita, when she insisted that she would come and serve India in spite of her guru telling her that she can continue to work from London because life in India would be difficult for a person coming from the West. We also have many other traits which go with each of the leadership styles. Suppose we list the leadership styles as visionary leadership, participatory leadership, democratic leadership, coaching leadership, authoritarian leadership. We find in Nivedita all these in abundance, and we can learn from her how to be a good leader. For instance, when we talk about a visionary leadership, Sister Nivedita was a great visionary, and we find this in many aspects. To name just one aspect is the education of Indian women. Here, she did not start from scratch. She said, Indian women have an inherent education. What they require is formal learning. They have not maybe gone to schools and colleges, but they have a value system. They have the skills. They can manage a huge family, a household. So many interpersonal skills they have excellently. So we should add to that. Then she started her education. When we come to coaching leadership, we find that the way in which she encouraged art and science in India, the colonized country. If we mention Nandalal Bose, you find a huge contribution of Sister Nivedita as a coaching leader. We can mention the great scientists Jagadish Chandra Bose. Again, a huge contribution of Sister Nivedita, her coaching style. A participatory style we find when she was helping the freedom fighters of India. We find that her role in the freedom fight was to listen to the ideas of the young freedom fighters and support them or share her ideas with them. Participatory, democratic leadership. She used to share the work of the school. She used to share the work with people to whom she could delegate. She would trust everybody and listen to their voices. Then we come to the authoritarian leadership. We have a wonderful example of authoritarian leadership when we think in terms of the plague. In Kolkata plague, Sister Nivedita was not asking people to help her. She took the initiative. Again, she took the role of the leader in a dynamic form. She wanted people not to follow her words, but to follow her actions. So she started working for plague relief. Seeing her, many youngsters who were till now doing nothing came forward. And in this way, without a word, she taught leadership. We have many such examples in Sister Nivedita's life. If we can use them, see the way in which she motivated people, the way in which she communicated with people, the way in which she made people aware. These are all qualities of leadership. If we look through her writings, if we look through what people have written about her, and if we look at the manner in which she is the spokesperson for all the Ramakrishna Vivekananda tradition, we can easily find that she has interpreted all this. And this is for us. We have to make the best of it. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you all for watching and being with us in this journey. We hope to have you with us, and so look forward to any queries, suggestions from you. Please mail them in the mail ID that is being shown on the screen. We end with a prayer, 2 lines of a poem written by Swami Vivekananda. Thou helpful one, unselfish ever on earth, ahead, still aid with love this world.